Hey there, Melvin Reaper. Actually, I just realised I see the details on this job that it's clicking. It's a bad sign, which is a very unfortunate sign. Clicking usually means CPU death, unfortunately, in these ones, but we'll have a look and see what's going on. Oh, dang. That's been knocked off. So is it 1958 or this is going to be a 1958, I think. This may be a very short stream. Hey, Floor Lamp, let's do it. Hey, Craig Dowler. I've just got a OCD habit here that I have to. And yes, as per the title, we now have a bunch of kittens. So it's kind of funny but expected. We took the mother cat down to the clinic today because we're like, damn, yeah, she's really, really fat and she's been holding on to him for quite a while. And we just sort of wanted to be sure that there wasn't going to be any unwanted complications, things like that. And the vets down the clinic said, well, she's due any day now. And yeah, get her home. 3 hours later, she starts having them. Hey, Denumrus. By the way, I'm working on that, making that job thing that we've been talking about. Yeah, so that's probably where the damage has happened. We've had connection between the wrong sides of the MOSFETs and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is a 1958. And I'm not doing it just for you, Dudumrose. I'm actually doing it because I figured, you know what, I should really make it so that it, from a software perspective, you know, it's been made more generic so that, you know, I don't have to dig through things later when I've forgotten about how I've done everything to change parameters and things like that. So, you know, it's for my own advantage, which is why I'm happy to do what I can to try and make this work as easy as possible. The only other problem is there's a lot of redundancy in my database tables because, you know how it goes, you sort of create some tables and then you find, oh, I didn't really need to use those fields or things like that, and so you end up with 2 or 3 tables and about 30% utilized across those tables. And yeah, it's a 1958. I just wanted to be 100% sure. I didn't want to... Okay, well, if this is a 1958, I have a feeling the machine they sent me, I wonder if it's a 1958 as well. This is the board that needs to be fixed. Backlight's been messed up. Oh, the backlight's really bad. This is the board that needs to be fixed, but they've sent me a iCloud lock machine, which should allow me, but for some reason I had in my head that it was going to be a different machine. 2179. Oh no, yeah, right. It's okay. I'm just being daft. Okay, I'm going to put this back on. The number is I probably wouldn't release that as open source, mainly because of the fact that people then go, oh, can you you know, add this feature and that feature, and you know, being that sort of software, software, you know that the feature requests are going to come in really thick and fast, and unless someone drops a few $1,000s in my lap, there is no way I'm going to actively develop features that I currently don't need for myself. There's a few things in it that I know I need to fix up, you know, when I try to do the job management here, and I'm like, yeah, I need to fix that up. But they generally can wait. Maybe you'll run into a few and you'll go, I wish Paul would fix this up, and you'll probably just do it yourself. Okay, I seem to be missing my USB-C ports. Where are you guys? It's like I clean up the room and this is what I get. And everybody's like, you foolish fool. Never clean the room. And I would concur with your sentiment. Come on, man. Get out. This will be a recovery or repair. I'm not really sure where we're going to end up. I mean, there is a moderate amount of liquid damage there, but I don't know if it's quite severe enough to consider as can't do it type level. Tell me if anyone can hear clicking or not, because I can't, obviously. Was there any clicking then? Yeah, don't clean your room, just you can hear a steady buzz. Okay, thanks Murata. Yeah, it'll probably be the same thing. It'll be so input stage. So these are 17s, yeah. The CD32 17s seem to be more tolerant of one of them being faulty. Whereas the 3215s, the moment anything looks remotely wrong with another one of them, they're all like, we're out of here. Cheese it, they're like really lousy friends. There is some slight cleanup I need to do there. Suspect one of those resistors is not touching properly. We're pretty damn close to it anyway. Hey there, Teresa. Like that resistor there pretty much has lost its entire top cap, has it? Oh no, it's okay. I'm still just trying to evaluate what I'm doing. Actually don't know how it is that I missed on the job sheet that it was a clicker. I'm a little bit disappointed at myself for that reason. But certainly the corrosion here is what concerns me most. I suppose it is easy to miss these things, but like I said, it's when the jobs come in and the person puts in a description of what's wrong. Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity for me then and there to check it, and I, for some reason, didn't. Because I normally vet the jobs as they come through, as in, I look at what it is, make sure it's not a 1534 or anything like that. Or pre 2012. It's all looking okay. Stuart, probably 2013s now. 13s, 14s. Hell, even 2015 actually. Basically, 1466s I'll still work on, maybe 1502s. 1398s I'm sort of over. Starting to run into too many sort of secondary issues on 1398s. That's a micro thing, so I better go deal with micro. Damn it. Come on, get out of my pocket. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Alright, we're back. Wasn't too bad tonight. Stick the needle away. Torch away. Back into the pocket. Hey, Brett Carmen. Okay, well, Brett, yep, looking at your board. I don't know why I didn't, but I don't know why I didn't see that you wrote that it was a clicker. I was just lamenting how that was poor form of me not to see that it was a clicker. Just bringing up the board view and the schematic. I want to verify what that section that's particularly corroded is. That's this here. Okay, there are 5 and 3v3. Yeah, we'll just get quad display for the moment. So certainly the 5 and 3v3, they'll be controlled by the TPS. I'm guessing. Yep. Although if we're getting 20 volts, it's probably unlikely. I'm just going to measure these rails here. See if we can compare them to the diode modes. So we're looking up, we want 0.27 for those three because they're all the same rail, and 0.12 at the bottom. Oh, that's 0.027. Yeah, we'll love that. Oh, and that's diode mode. Okay, let's try that again. Normally I do this in resistance mode. Yeah, that's pretty much zip. Okay, resistance. Alright, the fact that we're sitting at 0.16 ohms, that is distinctly too low. Distinctly too low. Okay, 179. That's about right for that, but these ones here are the CPU is completely shorted, or yeah, 0.2, or one of the MOSFETs is collapsed. This area that was getting hot. Well, there's a hope. If one of the MOSFETs is just pulling to ground, then there's hope. Now I've got to make a choice. I can either remove the inductors or I can remove the MOSFETs. Yeah, but I have to take all three of them off in order to check. We'll go for the inductors, they're the simplest and easiest. And if they don't clear it, then yeah, at least we'll know what side it's on. Or at least we hope so. Ah, jeez. These inductors aren't too bad for heat. You're going to need almost as much to get the MOSFETs up anyway. So we're just going to heat the board up in general. Also, I don't want to cook the inductors either. Okay, here we go. Whoop. Okay, one. Fortunately, they're all the same, so it's not a big problem. 2. Three. Like giving the board a chance to heat up like I was doing just by waving over the area for a fair bit, it makes it easier for them to come up without frying them or turning them to charcoal. Okay, so we didn't melt the connector, so that's always nice. I just noticed that there's a bit of chippage going on here with the inductors flaking off. That's interesting. Keep an eye on that. Alright, now the moment of truth. What are we on? Resistance? Ah, shit. No, CPU. It's either the CPU's dead or the cap around the CPU is dead. And yeah, so we've got 50 ohms on these, so they're about right. But unfortunately, the CPU is the killer. At this point, all we can really do is we'll do a power injection, like about 0.8 of a volt. See if something other than the CPU lights up. Fingers crossed we find something other than the CPU that lights up, but the chances are pretty low. Which is rather unfortunate. Now the other problem is this board has now been heated up quite a bit. Now to give you an idea, so we've got this side here is shorted, so it could be these caps, those caps, these caps. There's still a good number of options before we can definitively say it's the CPU. We will be careful, we only do about 0.8 of a volt. At least we've got some good grounding points there for us to put the wire on. Now that short, whatever it is actually quite strong. So we're going to go with some fairly short wires and try and minimize the amount of heat lost in sending power into the board. I think what worries me here is the fact that the board was liquid damaged and then it stopped working by the looks of it, which does tend to lead me to think that this is going to be a dead CPU. Now if there hadn't been any liquid damage and it did what it did and we got 0 on the short on the CPU side, I would think, okay, there's a chance it's a cap. But because it's a liquid damage induced failure, most likely, that tends to imply that something overvolted, and because of the interruption of proper management of the voltages, and caused the death of the CPU. Anyway, enough waffling. Let's get to testing. It's not over until the CPU sings. Oh, don't worry about that. No, it's okay. It's all good. I'm just going to use this box here as my thermal insulation. Okay. I mean, I didn't read the description properly to see that it was a clicker, so... Okay, 0.8 volts. We'll start at 1 amp. There's really no point in starting on higher than 1 amp, really. It's like, there's no need to start at 5 amps when you only need to start at 1. These cameras will pick up, 125 milliwatts of power, no problem. Hey there, Cam. Good evening to you. Hey, Caradog. I'm leaving the extractor running so I can get some cooling on this. Not much writing on this working? Oh, well, we'll see what we can do anyway. It makes for an interesting situation. Okay, let's realign that. Looks about right. Let's bring the CPU into the equation. Let's switch over to the view. And let's apply the power. Okay, 170 milliwatts. We're being very severely clamped. Like we're down at 0.177 volts. So at this point we'll push up the amperage. 0.36, we're not going to go any higher than that. Interesting, we're not actually showing anything. That's because most is probably going through the wire, yep. I'm going to flip the board over and have a look. We might be lucky, there might be a big fat cat cooking up. Although usually they tend to show up pretty quick. Yeah, it's the wire that's getting hot here. So I'm going to have to actually go with a slightly thicker wire or some other... That's just a reflection that it's bouncing off there. You can see how it's just heating up that wire. Is that a hotspot? Yeah, we've got our hotspot, I think, just then. Or was it just a reflection? No, there's a reflection. I will admit, I'm kind of thinking we might have a chance here. We might have a chance here because usually if the CPU is... If it's the CPU, it usually does show up, you know, it gets pretty warm. But this... No, this is a much harder short than that. I'm just going to go above. I'm just going to try and replace that wire with something thicker. Of course, it could mean that there's an internal board layer short, in which case you're back to square one of it being a disaster. Realistically, I should actually put it after those resistors, because they may be small, but they do still have an influence. This whole bank here, it's not really enough though. I mean, okay, look, to be fair, that's 1 milliohm, so I'm being a bit silly if I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, let's get some thicker wire. I could just put 2 wires down. Yeah, I need to find... Where's my box of wire? I need something like 16 gauge or such. Because I think that's 28 gauge or 24 gauge. I can't remember which one's which. Tradie, you should get yourself a thermal cam for the switchboards. I'll show you which ones are not really living up to their what they're supposed to. And then at least you can get to them before they get to the point where even I can walk up to the switchboard and go, hey, I know what's cooking in there. No, the thermal paste won't really influence it much. I mean, if anything, you would just sort of see it a slightly broader spread, but it would certainly still warm up. I mean, when you think about it, the thermal paste's purpose is to transfer heat as quickly as possible with minimum sort of thermal resistance. So henceforth it would make sense that if any heat is being applied in and around the thermal paste should show it up pretty quickly. Otherwise it's been more of an insulator. I need to really put some flux on this, but I just want to heat it up a little bit first. Okay, that's good. It's too much flux. Unfortunately, what happens around here is that throughout the course of the day, it just sort of oozes its way out of the tube. So I constantly have to have my flux hanging over some sort of receptacle that can catch it, or that I can clean up at least. I do pull the plunger back, that's the trouble. I mean, it's not the trouble, but yeah, I do plunge it back precisely for that reason. But when you're at 90-95% full on the tube, it doesn't really help. I should just find... And the thing is, you can't even put like a cap on it or something. The caps never seem to hold it, they just spread the ooze. Well, that's some seriously old wire now. Goodness knows, what's that, like 15 years old, that wire? Still does the job. Hey there, Jim. Alright, so that's moderately chunkier. Yeah, I think this is cool enough now. Although to be fair, the box does give me a little bit of elevation, which means it's closer to the camera, so that's handy. Just making sure the power was off. Now the ground lead is still the old thinner gauge, but we'll work on it as it comes about. Okay, here we go again. Make sure we get our polarities right. Yes, we do. Uh, 2 amps and still not really bringing anything up. I'm going to push it to 3 amps now. 3 amps. Still nothing. That's a watt of power going somewhere. Bloody hell. 4 amps? Even at 4 amps, it's not giving us anything. That power's got to be being dropped in the cables. There's just no other way. Yeah, I think I've got my cardboard box. That there is just a reflection. Let's see if I've got my dome of silence. Dome of thermal silence. Unfortunately, I put a ton of crap in this box. Because I forgot to empty the rubbish. Anyway, here we go. Damn it. Gonna need to just rearrange this slightly, because as I bring the box down it has a tendency to you can see the wires are getting hot. Given how ferociously low this short is, I'm starting to think it might be a cap, but I don't want to get my hopes up. The CPU is getting some warmth in it, but there's an interesting bit of warmth building up down that bottom edge there, below the CPU. So I might have a look in that area. Although the fact that the CPU is getting warm isn't a great sign either. But yeah, interesting to see how the leads are getting pretty damn hot. The reason why that bottom edge area might be getting warm is because perhaps that's where the power trace runs, or one of them. But yeah, the CPU in general is getting warm. The ohms are like below zero point 0.1. Yeah, that's pretty generic all around over there. 3 watts. 3 watts of power, and probably about 90% of that's going up in the leads. Yeah, we're getting some heating effects here. That's about it. So at this point I can sort of take a look at the board and B blood, we've actually already done that by removing the inductors. It kind of feels like it's an internal board short, to be honest. The trouble we have here is that none of it is even, how'd you put it? It's not really congregating even slightly in any area. Like I said, at best it was down in this area here that we saw something, and there's nothing of use there. Hey babe.
Are you able to grab Tiger for me?
Tiger, where is he?
He's on the air conditioner.
Okay, yeah, sure, I can
Just
get him.
don't scare Bubba.
No, that's
Bubba had a bit of a fright.
okay. Tiger. Yeah. Yeah. Counted for?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I'll get him. I don't know why I jumped in so early. We haven't closed up yet. Sorry?
I don't know why.
Yeah. I've just got to go find where Milo is to make sure he's okay, and I'll be back. Oh. Okay. Yeah, he's good. He's on the table.
Thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know whether Tiger was.
But yeah, that's it. Done fast enough. With money, it's almost good. Alright. A milliometer could be potentially useful. I mean, I do have one, but the biggest problem with milliometers is the fact that in order for them to work properly, you need, of course, to have Kelvin leads. And getting Kelvin leads with extremely fine tips is a non-trivial thing. I've actually got a few ideas on how to make some. But as a rule, it's very difficult. Yeah, most of the Kelvin leads you see, they're sort of designed for much larger situations. I think I might just clear off this and see what it looks like under there. Wondering whether we don't have a crack or something. Fortunately, I do have replacement for this paste if I need to put it back on. Thanks to Tim Herman. With his carbon black thermal paste. Now, I don't know whether it was an experiment or not with Intel and Apple, but these gapped CPUs seem to be running into a fair bit of strife. Hey, Catherine. Hello, Nabil. The reason why they use that paste is because the CPU, the heatsink as it were, it doesn't actually sit on the die. It's air gapped. Now usually they'll use a fixed width silicon sort of thermal transfer pad, but for some reason Apple went for this sort of interesting paste. Apple being Apple, I guess. And of course, the chips themselves actually still ride slightly higher than the frame around it. Well, I might try with a chunkier ground lead. So that's the light duty ground lead. We might try a chunkier one. See if we have anything come up. Come on, heat up. What is this stuff? 16 gauge, yep. "16 gauge should be good for at least 10 amps. That's still about the best spot for the ground. The hardest thing here is actually getting all parties to agree. Tradie Trev, it's actually a lot easier once... Oh great, it looks like I've lost switchovers. It's actually fairly easy once you've got the microscope. It's just one of those things that once you have that visual feedback at those finer scales, your hands don't sort of wander as much. I mean, it takes a couple of days of getting used to it, but once you're over that, it's surprisingly easy to keep your hands steady. It's not as hard as it seems. That's basically what it comes down to. Or I should say, it's not as fantastic as it seems. Okay, move. Right, better switch to schematics. There we go. Here we go. We're pushing. I can't push any more power into this. I'm going full 5 amps. The power supply will not give me any more. So we've got 3 watts, and you can see the wires are heating up. It really makes me think that we've got an internal board short. I'm just going to put the box over it because you're getting a lot of reflections there that are misleading you into thinking that you're seeing a short. Oh, look at that. That whole layer is heating up. So I'm going to say we've got a internal layer short here because the half of the board is warming up now. And there's just no way you can do that with strictly a component. Unless the component is the circuit board. Yeah. Like I said, the whole area is heating up, and that can only mean you've got an internal board short or something like that, because there's no um, there's no locality in it. And even if it was behind that shield, it would be warming up by now. So yeah, I'm sorry, I'm going to declare this as a internal board short. Swap the NAND and T2 to the other board? Oh yeah, sure, yeah, I'll just do that. Oh. I mean, technically you could. But I'm not sure I'd want to do that. Yeah, but when everything just heats up in general like that, it's very unlikely that it's an individual component. Sorry about that. That one wasn't really one for the fixing, it seems. Come on. And is that other one, the one you've sent in, is that genuinely iCloud locked, or is it just password user account locked? Oof, that's hot. It's just password locked. Well, I suppose you can always just reformat that one. Just, boot it up and make it do the whole macOS reinstall. Hey Andrew, can't get through the recovery. Oh, what does it actually come up with when you say go through the recovery? Is that when it comes up and says it needs to be um, iCloud, whatever? Needs the password? You should still be able to get past that, I think, with Apple Configurator at the least. Yeah, I think if you try Apple Configurator and just do a factory reset, it might let you through. You need another USB-C mount. Well, I've got those. Yeah. I know this seems silly, but I'm putting the parts back on. It's almost like when you go to a funeral home and they do their best to be respectful of the dead, make them look good again one more time. That's okay, at least it's fine. It takes me 5 seconds to do this. Kind of also gives me a little bit of practice on trying to see what temperatures and air I'm gonna need to put these parts back down. It's an opportunity to refine some skills. Because it's really easy to put parts down if you just go all out with the heat. But it's a bit more of a trick to find the low point on, how low can you go? Hotspot and bin. That's sad though. That is sad. Would have been good to have a recovery on those, but I got to admit, 1598s and 1958s and 1521s, they're just constantly showing up as dead. It's sad, but it just seems to be something, that type of CPU, I don't know, it just seems to have a predisposition. Because like the A1534 laptops, the 12 inches, they had that same kind of CPU. And then we've got the A1932, which has the 820 1521 board, same CPU, and it's also suffering similar sort of failures. And these, what are these? The 2179s, same sort of CPU, same sort of high rate of failure. Oh well. I'll just put a big sort of mark on this. At least you'll be able to use it for parts. Something. Let's see. Do you want me to have a look at the other one? Just to verify what it is. 2179. Yeah. We're all still learning. We never stop learning. Goodness knows I make heaps of mistakes. particularly on live streams. In fact, almost always on live streams. I'm surprised I haven't been boycotted by the Society of MacBook Repairs. Well, to give you an idea of things that I've learnt recently, is I finally took the time to dig into panic logs on iPhones, because I'm getting a lot of iPhones coming in that have been liquid damaged and things like that, and people want their data off it. And one of the things that you have to do, or one of the typical sort of faults they exhibit, is the sort of periodic reboot. And so to get around the periodic reboot, you rip off all the cables and then you start plugging them back in to find out which one is actually responsible. But imagine my surprise when it finally dawns on me that when I look into the panic log, it tells you basically which one is at fault. Depending on, it'll tell you within the first line, because it'll be like timeout on sensor mic 2 or timeout on sensor thermal 1, things like that. And that just makes life so much easier. Probably the hardest thing though is that you have to, like, I'll have my phone on standby next to the phone that is failing, and I will just use a airdrop of the panic log onto here, and then I send this to my computer, and then I analyze it on my computer. And it just makes it easier because I don't have to then go trying all the different cables. I can straight away see which cable it is that's at fault. Hey there, laptop. So yeah, that's a new thing for me to learn, and I know a lot of people are going to go, oh man, you're an idiot, you know, we've known that for years. And it's like, yeah, you have. I didn't. I just learned it today. Well, not today, but last week. And I think that's the other trouble, is when you get mocked for the fact that you didn't know something but you did learn it, it's like, screw you all. So I'm never going to ask questions ever again. Oh shit, what happened there? Oh man, that got talked right off? That's impressive. Man, it reminds me of the head bolt on my 250cc twin overhead 4-valve motorbike. That was a really unpleasant moment that day. The insult to injury for me was the fact that I was undoing the goddamn thing, trying to get the head off, and all of a sudden, twang, it separates. And I'm like, what? That's only supposed to happen when I'm doing it up. But no, it happened while I was removing the bolt. So then I had to haul that engine about 10 kilometers on my push bike down to a place that could get the old bolt out and put in a new helicoil or whatever. Oh wow, yeah, I see. Yeah, they've also. What the hell? You got someone's been strong arming this poor laptop. I'm impressed actually, because in order to, well, I guess it's either a case of, if they were trying to get them out, fair enough, but that means then they're locked in there pretty tight. But if they were talking them down, I'm impressed that they didn't actually lift the. They didn't lift it, because usually that's what will happen. You torque it down, the thread pushes onto the circuit board then delaminates as that gets yanked up. Air impacted screws, yeah, yep. I'm just going to see how torqued up they are. Just give them a little test. Yeah, they're torqued up pretty hard, so I'd say it's, someone went to crazy town with those. Impressive job, very impressive. And what's going on here? Okay, all 4 pins in there. Okay, cool. Oh well. Yeah, so try it with another MacBook with Apple Configurator 2. and see if you can't do a factory reset on that, and you might be good. You might end up with a machine that's working anyway. Probably use a cordless drill. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Okay, we'll put the lid back on that. So exhaust studs. Oh geez, yeah, exhaust studs are just. I don't even know why they bother putting studs into exhausts. I mean, a lot of the racing motorbikes and things like that, we just use springs. I mean, obviously, ideally, you want to minimize your losses through the exhaust, but springs with a bit of a tapered input, and you're good. But yeah, using bolts, every time you go to undo those bolts, it's like, yep, well, we're going to have to get the lubricant out and tap it, and nasty stuff. Any luck on the bounty? Nope, nobody's yet claimed the bounty. By the way, you don't have to tell me every step, to anyone doing the bounty. You don't have to tell me every step you're doing. As long as you just come out with the results in the end. Or if you do want to check, say, would this be an acceptable solution, then yeah, that's good to check with me on that. But yep, no one's claimed that bounty. I mean, I know 500 isn't a lot of money, but it's still a reasonable amount, particularly if you're doing anyway. I'll put this one, send it back to whence it came. Hey, smeller, no wins. Use copper slip when reassembling. Oh, okay. Where do you put the copper slip? I never had that on my motorbikes. It was always just like rust. Okay, that one can go back, sadly. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to revisit a couple of boards that Jason sent through, and these are the ones that drive me mad. These are the ones that compelled me to actually put up that bounty, and I just want to have a look. Often I like to put a job aside for a week, let your mind forget about the job, you don't have any preconceived notions then, and then have a look at it again. But you got to work moderately quick, because your preconceived notions start rushing back pretty quick. You're like, oh, I remember this, I did this, and I did this, and then you're like, damn it, I'm trapped again. Okay, to be fair, this one here, we could recover the data because we do have the life raft. Copper slip goes on the threads. Okay. Huh. I've never had the pleasure or whatever of experiencing that technique. I was always just... I did at some point start substituting stainless steel for the bolts, but didn't really help that much. Okay, this is the one, yeah, here we go. Preconceived notions already coming in. This is the one where we were chasing the odd voltage. We're thinking it was running a little high. Creature ran the numbers and said while it is high, it's in spec. So that kind of eliminated that possibility. Thanks for killing the hope, creature. Bravo. I suppose that's your speciality, killing people's hope. Never used anti-seize. No, we would use anti-seize, but of course motorbikes aren't exactly great environments. Namely because, like, particularly with the ones I had, there was no fairing or anything like that, and the exhaust would be forward facing. So all your mud, water, anything would splash up onto the exhaust headers. And so subsequently, Yeah, it was never pretty. But anyway, no, I never really got around to trying anti-seize back then. Usually we'd stick just high temperature grease or something on there, but that wouldn't really work for long. Right, I think, was that? No. I think the problem I've got here is that I'm waiting on more CD32-15s. And the reason why I wanted to divide the board is because I felt like this side here should be just fine. Like there's no damage anywhere on this side. Yeah, real 3215s. Oh, that does actually, Dodum Residue, maybe just remember one trick I was trying to do, and that was to, in place of like that diode there, take it off and short it to ground, and likewise on the other side. And I did find that eliminated it from some situations, but not all. I think it might be a case of, depending on how the CD3215 has failed, it may or may not be applicable. So I might try the shorted input technique and see if that will allow it to disconnect. Now the big problem here is that to do that I've got to use hot air, but I've got my 3215s right there and they're not going to appreciate that hot air. Have you seen any 7540s with crashy blocks on screen? Nope. But I'd say that's a CPU failure in progress, and I have been hearing about those ones having that kind of failure. This was a 921, I think it was. It was a 9 something. Where'd you go? I saw it just before as I was cruising past. Yeah, 923. Yeah, so it's a 239 board. I wonder if someone just made a mistake somewhere and printed up the wrong numbers. Okay, I'm just trying to find a way to short this chip. Okay, the easiest thing for me to do here is to bridge that cap there, because I can just put a blob on it and that will short out the 20 volt. And it should not blow the fuse. The fuse shouldn't blow. And if the fuse does blow, well, what can I say? I can always short this here. Actually, you know what? These two here, these two pads, I'll just short those. Swap the job number. Yeah, I suppose so. It doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so now when you want a blob to bridge across something, you can be guaranteed you're not going to get a blob. Haha. I got a blob. And naturally on this side, I'm gonna say this side is probably gonna be those two there. And it is. Jim, if you read the full title, you'd see that kittens will not be on the stream. Yeah, we took Posey into the clinic today because we were starting to get worried that she's really fat, but she wasn't showing any signs of wanting to drop kittens. So we took her into the clinic, and they were all like, "Wow, she's so fat." So yeah, we know that much. And they took an ultrasound and everything, and then within about 2 hours of coming home, she has the kittens. This is this one here has been reluctant to short. You guys realize, of course, if this shorting technique works for me, I may have to remove the bounty. Damn it! What do I do? Put a 0 ohm resistor there? How about a nice chunk of wick? It's forcing me to have to put a 0 ohm resistor down there. Yeah, bub. Okay, situation?
Everyone's still like
Out and about.
But the doors are still open. I was going to close the
Go close it, yeah, because it's 11:45.
Mia's out the front, but I just closed her out.
Yeah, close her out. And Mo's out on the table, I guess. Yeah, since Micro's in, close up. Thank you. Didn't realise it was as late as it is. Anyway. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to get a resistor. Resistor. It's futile. Let's see. I actually think they're 402s. Oops, lost my balance. What? Capacitors. Sorry, I got to sneeze. Oh, that was exciting. I hope you enjoyed it too. Resistor, 402 resistor. There you go. Hey there, Godfrey. There we go. 4020 ohm, aka unofficial resistors. Oh, sorry, unofficial fuses. Yeah, Catherine, it's like I said, it's not what we wanted. We really did not want more kittens, but we knew that it had taken us too long to get our hands on her. So it was just a case of, well, we're going to have to ride through this lot. Fortunately, yeah, the clinic knows us. Sorry, I'm just... Yeah, the clinic knows us, so there's a little bit of excitement from them about the kittens. I'm just going to have to hot air that a little bit. Yeah, we may have homes for one or two of them earlier than normal. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately, Maple is the sister of Posey, so, and they get along, so that helps. That last batch of kittens that we had, we believe it was a combination litter between Maple and Posey, so the two girls that we got, the last kittens that we had, we feel are the ones that they had, as in it was a joint litter. They just happened to about the same time have them. If you remove... Okay, the numbers, we'll try that. Well, first we'll try the short technique. If the short technique doesn't yield anything, we're going to try the I2C pull-ups, I think it is. Are they the two pull-up lines? I think they're the ones, they're the pull-up lines, aren't they, Dodumras? I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm speculating based on your theories. Oh, they're pass-throughs. Okay, alright, thanks. Good to know, we'll try that. Okay, 5 volts. Yeah, we're obviously not getting anywhere here. It feels like that's reacting to the short. Just going to try a fresh, clean USB-C port. Doesn't really matter, to be honest, but yeah, being stuck at that like 20-30 range, it kind of feels like it's reacting to the fact that that side's shorted. I do not believe that to be in DFU mode. I can check though. But if it is in DFU mode, we're on the wrong side. So the trouble is, to get out of DFU mode, we need that side functional, but we've shorted that side. Alright, let's try Dodumras's ideas. So 3042, 3041 schematic. What is that? 30 what? 42. Okay, they're right next to each other. Okay, they're 33 ohms. Interesting. Alright, I'll pivot those off and we'll have a look and see what happens. Is this the right board even? Yep, it is. Oh, they're for one side, are they? Let's see, we might need the other side. Therefore, what the hell? I hate it when I get random noises going on around the place, but schematics. Yeah, they look for the ones, they look like they're the ones for the shorted side. So I think you've got the right side, the correct side ones there. You need to remove the links first. Probably not. When I say right side, I mean correct side. Anyway, that's these two here. So yeah, we're just going to swing them off and see how it goes. It is surprisingly difficult to get these parts to move sometimes. Okay, we're good. Yeah, the mic could have been clipping. Because I'm running Linux, I don't have a compander like Mr. Rossman does. Actually, I don't know if he's got a compander, he's probably just got a compressor. There's another pair, RB, yeah, they'll be fit, yeah. Just waiting for the board to cool down before I apply power to it. Yeah, the internal board short, that was a previous job. This is a new job. SDL dark low, common for all 4 chips, right. Okay, well, let's see how this theory goes. I may have to remove the short of the other sides. Okay, no change of behavior with that, so I'm going to remove the shorts and put on some long pants instead. You watch how hard it's going to be to remove that. Oh, okay. I was going to say it'll be just my luck that the short will be like, no, I like it here, I'm staying now. I'm going to have to blob this one off. I've already subjected that to enough heat, I don't want to give it more. Why does the blob always form on the side you don't want it to form? Anyway, that's gone. Okay, try again. Since we didn't use hot air, we can get away with doing it pretty quick. No change in behavior. It's still the same. Okay, RB241. And 242. Okay, they're on the CPU side. So it's going to be that one there, and that one there. Might just give it a tiny dash of lubricant. Shouldn't upset the SMC too much. Kind of curious to see what happens with all of them disconnected like that. I'm not expecting it to work, but I am just sort of curious of what behavior we will see, if any. It's sometimes handy to do things like that when you're just experimenting like this. It doesn't hurt to test or check every sort of state, or more states than perhaps what you're projecting to do the testing on. Like if this is a transient state because we've got both sets of resistors disconnected, but by testing what it behaves like in that state, you may gain a bit of information that might help you somewhere else along the line. $51.67 is a pull-up for S4 dark. Okay. Anyway, we'll just test this. It's interesting to note that that 5-volt rail dips ever so slightly. It'll drop, see how it goes, that 1.9 sort of value? Kind of makes me wonder if there's a short hanging around somewhere that I just haven't spotted. Yeah, that 196, which sort of does a very slight dip. Like I said, it's not much. Anyway, now I'm going to reinstate these two. Assuming I find them again. Oh, there they are. We'll help them along slightly by giving them a little bit of... Oop, that's way too much flux. Some lead-free... Oh, sorry, lead-free? No, leaded. Where is the voltage trace on the screen? It is the red line here. This is the voltage line. The white one down the bottom is the current line. Let's see. Anyone know where I can get a how-to for learning how to properly reset an EFI on a MacBook? Have ideas? Mureto might know. Look, to be fair, the red line is not very obvious, so yeah, there's no need for blaming yourself on that. It's only a single pixel. Yeah, it's only a single pixel, so... I'm just waiting on more stock of my 3215s. I don't have any left at the moment. The board where we had the fake CD3215s, that was the last of my 3215 stock. Ah, that just reset. Or was it me fiddling? No, that one resets. Okay. So it's probably a bad CD3215 there. Okay, this top one here is a resetter. So that CPU up, curves down, top one there. Which means this one here is problematic, potentially. Which we believe is believably, because that's the one that's got all the damage on it. Wrong one. There we go. Now the problem being is, as soon as I take this off, I'm going to have to take the other one off as well. Oh, I better put those resistors back. Ooh, not happy about that. It's only a diagnosis port, but I'm still not happy that I did that. That's pretty piss poor thermal management on my behalf. I'm sorry about that. Normally I'm very conscious of where the various soft spots are. And I failed. Like I said, it's a diagnosis port. It isn't actually used by the Mac in normal consumer operation. But it's still not, it's a mistake, yeah. Well, I guess we're I guess we just need to take this off. We'll take that off, that CD3215, see what happens. Ah, bloody underfilled. Hooray for underfilled. What a nuisance. It would have been so nice if Apple just simply, would let the configuration sort of continue to work even if one port was down. Sort of a limp home mode or something. But no, instead they're going into the pedantic abandon ship. Nobody's allowed in. Someone dropped a beaker. I'm just going to double check all the caps around, just in case I missed one that might have been short. Oscar, no, I need to, but I wasn't quite. Instructions were unclear, and I accidentally took my head off. If someone can give you the instructions on how to do it, like if there's a boot, I tried plugging in external keyboard and mouse, no avail. So what my next attack plan was to take the drive out of that machine, plug it into another machine that did have the USB controller that it supported, and then I still was then stuck at the point of, okay, what patches do I apply? I did look at the site, but yeah, instructions unclear. No, did personal damage. Does Apple have a demon core? Oh geez, I hope not. Don't really care to have some chunk of plutonium running around with a beryllium cover. Alright, here we go. So we want to preserve the board. Henceforth, we tilt it so that this thingamajig is facing up into the chip. We don't care about the chip, so we can afford to scrape its little pads a bit. This is the board we've got to save here. Instructions for your newly built PC? No, it's not my newly built. This is a customer machine that's come in, and they've basically bumped up to Ventura, but it's not supported. The USB system, that the hardware on it is not supported by default in Ventura. So there's a couple of loose balls in there. It's a bit of a luck of the draw what you're going to end up with when you pop these chips off. Sometimes the chip holds onto all of the underfill, sometimes the board holds onto all the underfill. In this particular case, it was the board holding onto the underfill. The reason why we're changing this IC is because we suspect it to be an evil Maharaja. And it's holding all the happy people to ransom with its unwillingness to work. So, ha ha ha, you shall bow down before me. I refuse to work. Stupid little people. Yep, Paul's got some mental issues. Yeah, damn you, current, you shall not pass. I will infinitely resist you. No voltage will rise above me. Anyway, before Paul loses his mind again. Seems like once you boot into the desktop, there will be appear a window where you can apply the patches. Maybe you couldn't get the keyboard to work. No, I couldn't. That was the problem, Oscar. Yeah, the keyboard wouldn't even work. So what I'm planning is, like I said, I'll just take the drive out, put it into, say, like a 2012 machine, or maybe newer, and hopefully at that point I'll be able to then apply the patches and then revert it back into the original chassis. That's the plan. Plans are great. You gotta love them. They go flying past at 1,000,000 miles an hour as you chuck them out the window because they didn't work. I've already got my own Discord. I've got my channel. I don't think I really need a server. I think that'd be a little bit too pretentious of me to have my own server. I'm happy how I've got things right now where I'm just a little channel riding on the back of a big channel. Now, as you all know, I really loathe and detest rubbing wick on boards. It's sort of like the antithesis of everything I stand for. But in this scenario, you basically have to. Hey, Mark Guzman. I hate it because, you risk doing so much damage if you have for whatever reason, you have a spasm, anything, and that's it. You've wrecked the board. Riding on Lewis's coattails? Ha! Not these days. I did in the past. In the past, I was very dependent on Lewis for a lot of things, like publicity and stuff like that, getting my name out there. And, I owe Lewis quite a bit for that. It was the kind of marketing that you just can't buy. Even if he did insult me many times, or my software, or my integrity, or my country. But those minor things aside, I genuinely am very thankful for everything he did for me. Shit, okay, so there you go. That's a big problem right there. You see that? We're lucky it's an external one, but it's still a problem. So we can actually tack that back down. It's probably going to break off. But yeah, this is the sort of issue I'm talking about, why I hate scrubbing boards. There, that's broken, yeah. So I'm going to have to do probably an M1 style reconnect there. God, I hate that. It was loose because I was not sufficiently careful. And that one there is not too far off either. I can see it'll probably survive when I put the chip back down. But it's a little bit precarious. Yeah, so now we're going to behave like we're dealing with an iPhone. Yeah, creature, you're slow, mate. I already said that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, Litzwa will probably work okay for this. You don't know if you said it before me. Okay, that's impressive. Of all the pieces of wire I pulled off that spool, this one has actually been tinned. Actually, you know what? I'm going to push this over here, because that actually goes to this resistor right here, right here. Right, I really need my surgical knife for this sort of stuff. Anyway, it goes to this resistor, so it kind of makes it sensible to bind it to that resistor. Yeah, Warren, yay! That's not really the kind of... Me and fatherhood don't get along, alright? I kind of done that wrong. Yeah, you know what, this is... Sorry, OCD kicking in, cannot do... Please restart, okay. Whew. The OCD almost took me down then. Right, that's how I want it. Warren, you talking about human children or cats? For me, it's much the same, I guess. Alright, there we go. You realise how, no matter how sharp those tweezers are, you realise how completely brutish they really are under the microscope. Christian, yeah, actually someone sent me a packet of them. I haven't had a chance to practice with them. Yeah, you're talking about the like little gold leaf packets. I think I've got them. Someone did send me one. Okay, that's settled into a more natural position. See if I can find them. Oh, crikey, that hurt. Sorry, body getting oldie, stuffy kind of thingy. Brain slowing down. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the person who sent them to me was also the person that sent me a fairly advanced little soldering station. And unfortunately, I feel very bad about this, but I'm sort of a bit paralyzed with that soldering station now. It's like I need to give it to someone because I need to, pay it forward, as it were. But at the same time, I'm not exactly sure who to, and let alone how I'm even going to go about that. It's just an unfortunate situation where communications broke down, things were said. I'm just going through my various boxes of stuff here. I'm going to put it down in the low chance of finding this. Anyway, it was unfortunate, but it's happened. But the generosity can continue on. I've just got to find a suitable recipient for it. Yeah, I can see in my mind's eye what it was, that I'm looking for. But you can bet your boots I'll never find it. Oh wait, there we go. Just found it, I think. I did too. Hey Tony. No, it does not have hot tweezers. But yeah, here we go, see? It's a very handy little thing, you pick your sizes that you want. I wonder how many sheets are around here. Or is it just the one? Yeah. It's actually surprisingly thick, the copper, though. Which makes me wonder whether it's two-sided or one-sided, or what am I missing here? I feel like there's... maybe it's got a layer on it. Maybe it is two-sided. I don't know. Or maybe... Relife? Oh, maybe it's just backed. That's what it is. It's just backed. Yeah, so you just pull that up. Like so. No, so you don't actually have to remove the tape, you just gotta... And then you look at this and you go, holy shit, that's just like way too big. That's crazy. When you look at it on the tape, you think, wow, that's tiny. But then when you actually look at it here, it's huge. In fact, I don't know, it would have to be... it might be this size. Kudos to the person who actually manages the laser machine that does the cutting. That's, yeah, because that's some seriously fine tolerance they're working with there. It's ever so slightly big for it. Yeah, we'll give it a go. Hey, Trady. Have a good night, mate. We're going to eliminate my good work here. Also, I can show off to you imbeciles. Why do I do this to myself? I mean, geez, even creatures here, it's just sad. I think I can get away with this size. Or am I just pushing my luck a little bit too far with that? It's gonna be in between, I think. Yeah, glutton for punishment's about right. Crap. So Mr. Daniels needs some practice on these. Crap. Yeah, I think I need a bit of practice. That ain't pretty. That is really not pretty. What is this goo coming out? Is this like the backing adhesive or something? Yeah, there's like adhesive or something coming off the back of this. I mean, is it meant to have an adhesive? In the sense of, do you really want to have an adhesive? Yeah, I mean... Oh, hey. Oh, baby. That was very good. No troubles? Okay, thank you very much. Just a leader letting me know that everybody is inside now. Yeah, anyway, the reason why I'm sort of like wondering about the whole adhesive thing is like, do you really want some adhesive floating around on your trace? I suppose if you're going across a bare trace, a bare board, but if you're soldering back down on something, I'd rather not have any adhesive. Maybe it's just flux. See how it reacts when it heats up. Okay, look, I mean, to you guys it looks neater, but to me it actually feels profoundly more precarious. Because at least with the wire, you have a stronger cross section. I suppose with this you really have to now go along and put UV cure over everything. Because there's no way in hell that I would trust that to put up with any kind of thermal cycling without protection. Whereas the wire one, it's like, yeah, I can trust that wire without any problem. But this is extremely... You meant to UV mask underneath and then do it? Seriously? Okay, so you... Yeah. Well, I guess we'll try that for tomorrow, shall we? Because it's getting late now. So I'll give that a... I'm going to get rid of this one. I'll try and have a look at the smaller one as well. Yeah, I've got to deal with that other one that's a bit loose too. Creature, I can't help touch it. Look, I've got a few thousand more anyway, so what's it matter? Yeah, I'll clean this up, get it looking really good, and then I'll have another go at it. Where does that pad actually go, though? Is the nearly broken pad. Clean the area, mask in place, solder. Okay. Northridge UV's mask the exposed ends that solder does not touch. They usually use them for solder pads for connect. Yeah. Like I said, I like my wire technique. It doesn't look as pretty, but it's very robust. I think what I might do for this one is I may still end up going back to the wire, but then I'm going to practice with these pads on other things. Because yeah, the wire I trust. These flat ones, yeah, I've got trust issues. Alright. Okay, we're going to leave that for now. Well, what I might do is, just out of curiosity anyway, plug in the USB-C and see if anything's changed. I suspect when it comes to those little copper or gold things, there's probably going to be 1,000,001 different techniques. And everybody's going to say, my technique's the best. We've still got the same behavior, interestingly. Yeah. So it's spike up to 50 milliamps there for a second. Oh no, that looks like it's pretty normal, yeah. Yeah, same behavior, so more than likely I'm going to also have to remove the other side. Almost every single time you take one side, you have to take the other side. It's almost like, yeah, it's just something you have to do. Even if you're really careful with your heat, it's just kind of a for prudent sake, replace the other one on the other side. Check S4 Dark L state, please, on that pull-up. Okay, here we go. We'll just do this just for you, Dadumrez. Don't know why. You're not paying me enough, man. You had a 1 and 2 zeros after that. Just kidding. Okay, I actually don't have S4 Dark on this. I've got S4 SMC PME S4 Dark L. Is that what you're referring to? Where is that? That's inner pin. Okay, it's not far from where we broke off things. We'll have a look at the diode mode. Or is it actually where? So you want diode mode. And it's this pin here. Shorted to ground. Have I got the right one? Actually, I have a feeling I haven't. No. Yeah, okay, that should be 0.55. That's shorted. Have I got the right chip? I know it sounds funny, but no, I've got the wrong chip there. That's the wrong chip. That's why that didn't make sense. I'm 180 degrees off. Okay, in this case it's actually diametrically opposed. It's this one here. 0.54. Yeah, it's pretty much smack on where it should be. 0.54, 0.55. Yeah. So it is the correct value. I guess it would have been ideal for me to check that prior to removing the board chip. And geez, this took a beating here. This pad was also okay. Don't want to mess with that one too much. That's going down a veer into God knows where. Fifth one. It makes no sense. It says that's an NC. I can't count. Ah, there it is. Thunderbolt X power enable. Yeah, I don't want to lose that one. I do not have... Wow, that doesn't reappear anywhere. I think I'm ready. Yep, no, I'm out of here too. Alright, folks. It's late. I haven't done my dose of coding for the night either, so I'm out of here. You take care. Might see you tomorrow. See how we go.